Home buyers in the UK and across the world currently have a lot of questions on their mind. These questions are genuine considerations. For example, is the property price going to crash? Is the housing market going to rise or fall? Are the interest rates going to rise, or are the mortgage rates going to rise or fall? These questions are genuine considerations, particularly given the fact that purchasing a property is one of the most significant decisions in your life. They have to be taken seriously and they have to be addressed. What I will try to cover in this video today is what my personal plan would have been if I was purchasing a property in the current market conditions. Now, none of what I say in this video is meant to be financial advice and is for education and entertainment purposes only. There are timestamps at the bottom of this video, so if you would like to skip to a certain part, please feel free to do so. My name is Omar, and on my channel, I share with you my insights around personal finance and life matters in general. Now, let's dig into it. The first and the most important question, is this the right time to buy? I was actually on a property seminar last week, and the question on everyone's mind there was, is this the right time to buy? Now, in my personal view, and if you look at the data that is coming out of the UK property market at least, there are strong reasons to suggest that this is a buyer's market. And what that indicates is that buyers carry more power over sellers. On the average, the UK house price is being discounted by 4% or 12,000. This is according to the latest report issued by Zoopla, which means that there are sellers in the market that just want to get rid of their properties at a reasonable price, but at a discounted price. What that means is that for buyers, there are deals available that probably wouldn't be available if the property market was a more buoyant market. And therefore, rather than trying to time the bottom of the market, which in my view is a fruitless exercise, what I would focus on is the kind of house that I want to buy and then effectively moving forward with it. Because if you're in it for the long term, you want to make sure that the property that you're purchasing is based on your desire and your needs rather than trying to time the bottom of the market. Particularly given the fact that there is indication the interest rates are about to be halted, as it's already happened in UK. Therefore, if the interest rate cycle starts to reverse, what you will see is a lot of buyers that are on the sidelines of the market and a lot of sellers that are on the sidelines of the market will start to flood the market, and there is a strong enough sort of chance that the property prices will start to recover and stabilize. That's what's happened in the previous cycles as well. So rather than waiting out for the bottom of the market, the best thing right now is to look at the area, look at the property that you want to buy and move forward with it, particularly if you're going to do number two, which is to negotiate, and to negotiate strong. 50% of the houses that are brought on the market currently are being discounted in terms of the sales price. What tends to happen in markets like these is that the estate agents try to lure the sellers in by offering them an unrealistic price. Once the property is up on the market, the same estate agents then try to convince the sellers to start discounting their property. And therefore, the sellers that want to sell the property effectively end up with no choice but than to start to discount the property. If you go on Zoopla and if you go on Rightmove, there is property data that is available which will tell you when the property was brought up on the market and effectively whether it has been discounting. The listing history on Zoopla in particular is very useful to give you a complete history of the property from the time it was brought on the market and whether it has been discounted, how many times it has been discounted, and how long it has been discounted for. That information gives you, effectively, in my view, a lot of power, a lot of leverage in order to negotiate the price down even further or understand the circumstances of the seller and offer them a reasonable price. If you're going to do some comparisons against similar properties in the area, based on the condition, based on the square footage, based on the size, you will be in a much better position to negotiate the property price. In my personal view, at this point in time, there are sellers out there that are willing to take a discounted price in order to sell their property. Therefore, do not shy away from negotiation. Negotiate hard, do your research, understand the dynamics of the property in that particular area, look at the comparisons, and go on with all the information that is available to you in order to ensure that you're getting the maximum value for your money, which might not be available if the market was a more buoyant market, because there are a lot of buyers that chase a single property, particularly in desirable areas in the UK. Therefore, this is a really good opportunity in order to be able to discount the price down and get maximum value for your money currently. Now, the third thing actually is around the mortgage. What should the best approach be towards obtaining a mortgage in the current market? Now, the UK government is entered into a fantastic arrangement with most of the lenders currently in the UK, which works on the following principles. If you're coming anywhere near close to purchasing a property, you can lock in a mortgage rate today. And in case the interest rates move against you, i.e. the interest rates go higher, you can proceed with a current mortgage deal and complete on that basis as long as it's within a 6-month period. Now, in case the interest rates move in your favor, i.e. they go lower, you can get out of the original deal, move to the new deal, which will be at a better rate without having to pay any penalty, without having to pay any charges. So this allows you a lot of flexibility in order to be able to give you some certainty today as to what you're going to pay. And in case the market moves in your favor, you can actually get a much better deal. The second approach towards obtaining a mortgage, and my personal view here, would be that if I was purchasing a property in the current market environment, I would actually go for a shorter term mortgage, like a 2-year mortgage over a 5-year mortgage. There are strong indications currently that the interest rate cycle, or the peak of the interest rate cycle, is about to come to an end. The UK, as I said, is already halted, not completely stopped, but halted the interest rate hike. Therefore, it is conceivable that over the next 3-6 months, or even now, this cycle is coming to an end. And therefore, even if the interest rates do not decline, but just stabilize around this rates, which I don't think is going to be the case, then the mortgage rates are going to start to come down. Because what most of the mortgage lenders were struggling with in the past year or two was around the uncertainty. How far are the interest rates going to go? When the inflation is going to come down? Therefore, the mortgages were being priced at a much higher price, and the premium was actually quite higher than it could have been, even with this interest rate environment. There are indications that suggest that if the interest rate stops to rise, the average mortgage rate is going to come down in the next 6 months to a year. Therefore, in my personal view, I would actually go for a much shorter term mortgage if possible than a longer term mortgage, because I think that the interest rates will come down, or even if they don't come down, the mortgage rates at the very least will come down, offering you a much longer term mortgage. So in my personal view, I wouldn't lock myself in for a 5-year or a 10-year mortgage. I would rather stay with a 2-year mortgage currently, and then renegotiate or refinance the deal at the end of that 2-year period. And the last thing that I want to stress upon is something called the survey as part of the property purchase. There are 3 kinds of survey, and survey is a great tool, particularly in the current market, in order to be able to make sure that you're paying the right price for your property. In the UK property market, if you're going through a mortgage arrangement, you will have to get a survey done. There are 3 kinds of surveys. There's a basic survey, I think, which is sort of called the conditions report. Then there is a home buyer survey, which is a further detailed sort of survey. And then there is a full structural survey. When you go through your mortgage, your bank will be able to provide you with the details of these 3 surveys. In my personal view, currently, you should be going for a full structural survey. A full structural survey highlights all the issues and challenges with the property, as opposed to a basic survey which only looks at whether the property is mortgageable technically or not. And as long as the property is mortgageable and is in a decent enough shape, then the survey report will pass. But what a detailed structural survey does is actually understand what are the challenges with the property. Are there foundational challenges? Is there subsidence with the property? Is there damp issues? Is there rot issues? Any kind of issues that you might not be able to spot with the naked eye and are hidden or embedded within the property, particularly for old properties, the detailed structural survey will pick up. That gives you leverage to renegotiate with the seller, because in the current market, not a lot of buyers are going to be able to take the risk of being able to spend a lot of money on repairing a property that has structural challenges. Therefore, if you do pick up an issue, you will have 2 choices from there: either to walk out of the deal or to go back on the negotiating table with the seller and renegotiate a much better price, which again, I think in the current market, a lot of sellers who are keen to get rid of their property or keen to sell the property will probably listen and at least take into consideration the new price that you're going to be able to offer. So the best thing to do is to get a detailed structural survey report done. Even though it might cost you £500-600 more than a basic survey, in my view, it's definitely worth the price. So these are my 4 best tips in the current environment, in the current market, on how to go about purchasing a property. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please share, subscribe, like, and comment. And